Yes, well, I tend to almost convince you about the negative effects of media, but on the positive side, media is such a strong source. We can use it to access people anytime, anywhere. So I will agree with Cemal. So there's research about it. We know that there's a problem that suicidal thoughts, mental health problems are much more common among Turkish-speaking communities in Europe. And there's an accessibility issue. So e-health using internet to access, it might be an option. So I will be talking about my project, which I'm conducting in the Netherlands and in the UK among Turkish-speaking community, dealing with suicidal thoughts. So, first of all, why do we need an online intervention? Well, what we have been talking about so far, getting help from mental health services is a challenge. And 60% of suicidal people having suicidal thoughts, they have no access to mental health services a year before they make an attempt. And this situation is even more worrisome among ethnic minorities because of the cultural barriers, language barriers that we have mentioned. They have less access to mental health services. And so how do we tackle with this inaccessibility issue? And one way, but I'm not going to talk about this in detail because Aeron will talk more. We need to make services more appealing for the needs and expectations. We have to address the language barriers, the cultural context they are presenting. They are not separate from the mental health problems they are presenting. And another way is using media to access people, given the advantages of media. So what are these advantages? The advantages is accessibility, obviously. We cannot live without our iPhones. We cannot live without computers. So we can access, we live our lives online as well, most of the time. So given that, we can access to suicidal people anytime, anywhere, by using internet as a channel. So given this advantage, the main aim of my project is to adopt an e-health intervention, e-health and internet therapy for suicidal thoughts, according to Turkish-speaking community in the Netherlands and in the UK, and testing whether this form of seeking help offering help is acceptable and also effective in helping them to manage their suicidal thoughts. Yes. So why Turkish-speaking community in Europe? So because we said that the topic of the talk is the Turkish, Kurdish, Cypriot Diaspora in Europe. So giving you an European perspective on the issue, and I will refer to Armenia's talk as well. So suicidal thoughts and attempted suicide is higher, and especially among Turkish young women, Turkish-speaking young women, aged between 14 and 26. For example, in Germany, it's almost six times higher compared to native German women and women from other ethnic backgrounds. And similar statistics have been reported in the Netherlands, Switzerland. We don't know about UK, but I think you have an idea from Nursel's talk about the statistics in England. And so as like Armenia said, we have to give voice to the communities in order to be able to adapt services according to their needs and expectations. So in 2014 and 15, I did interviews and focus group meetings with the communities in the Netherlands and in the UK. And one of the key messages from these meetings was that suicide, it was seen as failing responsibility toward family and especially among second, third generation Turkish-speaking migrants. So that was one of the psychological factors leading to suicide in the Netherlands and in the UK. So while I was adapting my internet intervention according to Turkish-speaking communities, I took this as so I adapted it accordingly. I tried to address this hero-failing responsibilities aspect in the intervention. Next slide, please. So, how does this internet therapy work? Probably this is a question everyone has in their minds at the moment. So first of all, we can go to the next slide. So the internet therapy is called Imajana, and the name is actually coming from the interviews. It means crushing your life energy. Don't crush your life energy. I try to give a supportive message saying that your life is part of ours, so we don't want you to separate your life from ours. So that was the message, but some people find the name very scary. So people go to a website, they register themselves. So that gives more anonymity. They don't have to tell anybody that they want to use this service. And then we send them information letters and information package and consent form. They fill in the consent form and fill in a baseline questionnaire. And if they're eligible, meaning that if they have suicidal thoughts, then they are either placed to an intervention group, which means they start the therapy immediately, or they place into a waiting list group, which means they first have access to an information page, and then after a 6 weeks waiting time, they start the intervention. So that's the only way we can see if this therapy works or not. So that's the main reason of doing this experiment. Next slide, please. So I want to give you some snapshots about the content of the intervention to give you an idea about how a culturally adapted online therapy might look like. And so this is from the second session. So it's a 6 weeks long therapy aiming to reach people really thinking about suicide. So the aim of the therapy is to help them to manage their life better. Because suicidal thoughts, it can influence your life, your daily functioning, because thinking about them is very stressful. And in the second session, so we teach them to evaluate their feelings. So they learn to detect the negative feelings, and they learn to understand when they are going to have suicidal thoughts, and what kind of coping skills they can use to prevent them from getting worse. And I use images instead of numbers because Turkish-speaking people I interviewed, they said we don't express our feelings in terms of numbers. It's difficult for us. So that's why I use some images to help them identify their feelings better. In the next one, and this is another snapshot from the content of the therapy. So I also consulted professionals, and Esra was one of the professionals I consulted. And she advised me to use cultural examples, so cultural cases, in order to make it more relevant to this population. So I used some pictures, hoping that it looks like a typical Turkish-speaking guy. Well, I actually got positive views about it, and some stories that I learned from the interviews. Of course, I changed the details in order to protect the anonymity of the cases. And next slide, please. And that's another example of how it looks like. Again, the cultural examples and the pictures, helping them to identify themselves with the therapy much more. And yes. And how do I reach people? So how do I let people know about this intervention? Obviously, I use social media, mainstream media, newspaper advertisements, all sorts of channels. I also attend organized community meetings, and actually this is one way of making it more public. So thanks for coming. Hopefully you will spread the word. So the promotion, because the study has been conducted in the Netherlands and in the UK, and I'm aiming to reach first, second, and third generation. So the promotion is in 3 languages, Turkish, Dutch, and English. And also the therapy is available in Turkish, Dutch, and in English. So are users of the therapy, are they satisfied with it? I think that's the next question you have in your minds. No one committed suicide yet, and they are pretty happy about it. So some people said, so the therapy helped them to manage their thoughts, but they also learned useful life skills as a result of doing this therapy. Because the therapy is also addressing depression and anxiety as well. And like I said, it helped them to control their worries, to manage their worries, and carry on their daily tasks in a more effective way. And because the content of the therapy has been adapted according to the needs and expectations of this population, some of them said they felt like they were talking to a close friend. So they reported feeling this cultural familiarity with the therapy. And what are the user profile? I think who are using the therapy? That's another question you might ask. So they are usually female. No surprises, they are female. They are much more open to seek help in an earlier stage. So that also confirms Lucille's points. And they are usually aged between 18 and 25. And they are usually university graduates. That's, I think, also not surprising. And they are usually single. And people who are having mild and moderately severe suicidal thoughts, they are using the therapy. So it is appealing for people rarely thinking about suicide, but also people who are thinking about suicide all the time. And they are usually not seeking help from any mental health service. And the Facebook and the other social media strategies like Instagram, Twitter, they are much more effective in terms of reaching people. So, positive effects of media. And that's about it, really. That's about what I want to say.